Welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel, to the XRP army. Thank you for all the love. Let's waste no more time and talk about what's happening with XRP as we are going into Friday morning. So looking across the board, amazing day. Everything seems to be up right now. Yes, there are a few handful coins that are down, so I should obviously point that out as well. But if you're looking at the last 1 week, well, pretty much 99% of the broader market is up right now. XRP up about 7.3%. Looking at the price, $3.05 right now, up 1.4% in USD, and we're up about 0.3% in Bitcoin comparative. Valuation above 180 billion, once again, exactly at 182 billion as of recording this update. And the 24-hour trading volume is through the roof, sitting at 6.2 billion. As always, just a quick disclaimer for you guys: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So we're going to go over some key components to keep in mind, and then we're going to obviously talk about the price and wrap up the update. Appreciate that you guys loving these concise updates. The feedback has been amazing from the beginning, and again, continue obviously supporting, and you guys got these updates covered. But ETF flows around 552.7 million of Bitcoin and 113 million of Ethereum were bought on September the 11th. So people think that we're not seeing those inflows coming in, and we did see a little bit of a hiccup of that about 2.5 weeks ago. And yes, whales are selling. Whales are selling BTC, and that money is shifting into Ethereum. That money is shifting into other altcoins. That's how altcoin season really does begin. The dominance dropping down doesn't mean it's just dropping out of thin air. We need to understand some of the technicals behind it, but you're still seeing ETF numbers looking insane, and that's something we don't want to be overlooking. But take a look at what Zoom says. XRP has been and will continue to be one of the best performers this cycle. Yes, XRP will go into price discovery, meaning we will see all-time highs. And I agree with that based off of what we've seen with XRP not too long ago, reaching an obviously official all-time high. But of course, unofficial all-time high is what a lot of people want to see. But I think that's imminent with the way the price of XRP is currently holding, with the way the broader market is heating up. And I think with the rate cut, that could really bring in exciting times for the crypto space. So far so good, and I totally agree with what Zoom is saying. But let's take a look at this. Real world assets on chain value reached a new all-time high, sitting at a staggering $29 billion. And I still think this is very early in terms of real world assets being tokenized. And speaking about real world assets being tokenized, we did hear how BlackRock themselves are looking into tokenizing ETFs. So that is going to be quite something interesting. But are we surprised? No, not on this channel. Let's take a look at this. According to the CME FedWatch tool, the market sees a 93% chance of one rate cut, of course, in September, which is obviously this upcoming week. And then it says chance of one rate cut to 4% to 4.25. I'm sorry, yeah, so about 0.25 VPS, and 92% chance of two cuts by December. That's insane. So projecting that we do see two cuts. Again, something I've been talking about on my channel, how I could see that playing out. Obviously, I think the mega bullish moment would be if we do see a double rate cut at one FOMC meeting. I think that would be a huge component, and a lot of momentum could build up, because that really does mean, if you want to put it into perspective, if we see instead of a 0.25 BPS to a zero point 0.5, that means more money in people's pockets, and that money could flow into the likes of these markets, and that's where the excitement part really comes in. And of course, investors wanting to look into riskier assets, they are more obviously willing to look into those types of avenues. But take a look at this: DTCC list Fidelity Solana ETF and Canaries XRP ETF. I hope you guys understand this is a key component to see what's coming. This is a huge deal, and it's one of the first moves before an ETF really goes live. So are we going to see this really being imminent? I personally think it goes unsaid. We're talking about how much exposure these two specific assets have been getting when it even comes to the ETFs, and even from like an investors point of view, developer point of view. And this does not come as a surprise to me, and we need to be focusing on this more more than we know. I know a lot of people overlook this, but again, I'm going to continue to remind you guys we need to see this because this shows us all the puzzle pieces are coming together. But last but not least, Circle's USDC scores B plus from blue chip, but for 72 plus billion stablecoin powering global payment remittance and treasury operations. That should be a wake up call. Earlier in July, Ripple RLUSD got an A rating as it's listed as the number one stablecoin, which the NYDFS regulated custodied. Custodied by BNY Mellon and fully backed by USD treasuries and as well as money market funds. Here is their latest rating table. You can see RLUSD come in at the top with A. So is Gemini and PYUSD, but RLUSD is going to gain a lot of momentum because we need to pay attention to what they have done in such a short span of time. And with the integration of XRP Ledger and more interest coming towards tokenization and XRP Ledger being used more and more, I think this is where that gets used even more in the future. And of course, in cross-border payments and maybe some other entities wanting to incorporate RLUSD. That's where the things really get exciting. Let's take a look at the price. As far as dominance is concerned, we've seen a sharp pullback over the course of the last 24 hours. Amazing to see. Again, we're not really complaining. Bitcoin is sitting, as we're recording this update, above our confirmation level at 115,000. We actually came up to 116,300, but we did see a little bit of a retracement since then. But again, we're back above our confirmation. Going back to what I said, we need to pay attention to how Bitcoin is holding, and Bitcoin has been in this upwards trend. As far as XRP's price is concerned, remember that wick that I talked to you guys about yesterday at $3.17, and I did say we could see the price creeping back up and actually filling this wick. So far so good. We're back above the $3 key range, which of course is a huge resistance. We're sitting above here, nicely sitting at $3.05, and target remains to be the same, guys. Back to the 312, and then of course that opens the door for us to start retesting that wick that we just saw about 24 hours back. So far so good. Can't really complain as far as XRP's price is concerned. Going back to what Zoom says, price discovery mode, as far as that is concerned, that's only a move of about 20.4% from where we currently are, and that takes us, I think, to official even the unofficial all-time highs, and of course then a new official all-time high, and that gets everyone happy. And what I mean by that is because some people want to see the 380 to be retested, but honestly, that is labeled as an unofficial all-time high because a lot of exchanges it did not record it as an all-time high. So again, we're gonna take it one step at a time. So far so good. We gotta pay attention to the bigger picture. Love you all. See you later. Been Crypto ZX, and peace out.